Oh, I forgot to get a glass of water.
Hi, users. Hello. robotspacer is going to get up and go get a glass of water, because he needs one. And I can do a recap real quick. Welcome back, everybody. We are here again with the Consulting Detective Network. Hey, I said it twice in a row the right way. And we are back with Lamplight City. Last time, man, a lot of stuff happened last time. So
Yeah.
we started as some sort of police detective with our partner, Bill, investigating a series of robberies at a flower store where the flowers were actually getting paid for, so it was more like a breaking and entering.
Yeah.
We thought we had solved that, and then we accidentally shot our partner Bill as the culprit was holding him at knife point. Yeah. Our first actual case dealt with a whole bunch of weird stuff of live burial. Trying to think about how to say it because everyone always gives me crap for the Irish seeping in. Burial? Is that the normal American way of saying it? I don't know.
That's how I would say it.
I have always said burial and bury, and I can't stop myself. Anyway.
Either one's fine.
By a very rich lady who then hired us as a private detective. I guess technically no. A friend from the force that was like either their records clerk or receptionist let us know about the case, and we went and investigated it. But basically, this rich lady was not dead, and had been seemed to be dead, and then so they, accused her daughter's significant other of black magic, right? Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he was in prison, set to be murdered, or set to be, yes, but set to be hanged. So we did some investigation. There was lots of false leads with enough evidence that we could have accused them. And what it turned out was that this rich lady was, in fact, a terrible racist abuser. Literally locking servants into a coffin-sized hidden room in our piano room. And in one case, beat a servant so much that she died. So the case ended up being that this other servant who was in love with the one that died had given basically a poison that paralyzed the lady and made her seem like she was dead. So we ended up, as far as we know, correctly solving that. We'll see, I guess.
As far as we know.
Yeah, as far as we know. I don't think it's going to tell us until the end of the game.
That's what I think as well.
Yeah.
But I feel good about it.
Yes. If
I
nothing
don't have
else,
any doubts.
I don't feel bad about the lady being tried for a crime, so I'm all right with that. So then we've been in conversations with our ghost partner who may or may not be real. We're not sure about that.
Yeah, I'm not sure he's real.
I don't, because, so when the medicine started kicking in for us, it also impacted him.
Yeah.
Right? Which,
right.
I mean, you could say that, like, his link with us was becoming untethered or something like that. I don't know. I don't know that he's real or not. But we found that out because we were called real late at night because there was a kidnapping of an infant. We went there, found the husband who was distraught, who was also, like, the head of a research or invention firm, I guess, like lead inventor or something like that. I wasn't clear on his role. But yeah, the infant was stolen out in the middle of the night. We found a piece of cloth. We went back the next day after we were done being drugged up and met the wife, who is apparently having secret callers, is the way we'll call it. And we did some investigation with the husband, and it turns out that he also has a secret and that he is a terrible gambler who is massively in debt. And that is all I can remember off the top of my head. I really need to start taking recap notes.
We specifically determined that Miriam was seeing someone named Roland.
Right. Accidentally, yeah. Okay, well, with all of that said, I'm going to switch us into the game. And I think our captions should work now, too. Yeah. Oh. Just a little bit of a Oop. They're all very good notes. We have a bunch of people in chat, so first, I'm going to give Mr. Robotspacer a shout-out.
Oh, thank you.
I'm going to give a Miss Unsecret Crush a shout-out. Then we can get going. I'm very interested... Oh, right. We did have... It's not autosave, right? So, good. All right.
Oh. It
So
does do autosaves.
It does,
Right.
and I think it's like every map change, right? Yeah, map change or like start of the case, it looks like. Which is good. That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
So it seems like, based off my notes, or my save notes, assuming that I did not screw it up, we last talked with Harris and found out about his gambling addiction. Speaking of which, if you have a problem, please call the number on the back of your casino card.
Look at that. The kid has a toy chest. My sister and I used to have to keep our
Oh,
toy.
right.
Of
Okay.
course-
No, we've heard that kind of dialogue before. Bottle warmer.
My audio's cursed already.
Fantastic. Chat, let me know if yours is. It shouldn't be, but let me know if yours is. Can I just use it again?
Silver did some investigating into this issue and determined it was something
Seems
specific to the
just
game
this
that was
game. Yeah.
difficult to fix entirely.
But you should all be hearing it okay. Let me know if not, chat. And if you don't tell me and I go to the VOD and I find it's all been cursed this entire time, I'll be real sad.
You're all banned.
No. Make the game do a sound? Okay, we can do that.
Look at that. The kid has a toy chest. My sister and I used to have to keep our
Good for
toys
me,
buried
man.
in the backyard. Of course, that is because the only toys we had were dead rats.
Yikes.
Yeah, the kidnapper left the child's blanket behind. There
Okay,
doesn't appear
we're
to
good.
be any trace of the silver spoon, though.
Look, at a certain point, I did start thinking about getting Parsec set up instead of us doing through the Discord. I'm like, that's a lot of work for everybody involved.
What the heck is Parsec?
Allows you to remote someone else into your PC with full quality video and stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
It's a thing. It's pretty good. It's pretty. I'm gonna just throw it in the chat for people that may have interest. It's also not free, but it's pretty good. All right. I believe our investigations today have been blessed because while I was out in the yard today dealing with some hoses, 2 ducks just happened to be in the yard and literally just waddled up to me and hung out the entire time I was dealing with it, like within 1.5 feet. So
That's nice.
it was very lovely.
We had a cat in our yard the other day.
That's a surprise.
It pissed in the garden and then took a shit and left.
That sounds like a cat. That sounds appropriate.
Yeah.
Hinton in chat says, "What the heck is Parsec?" is a question that the team at Parsec seem to have asked themselves several times. Okay, so we've had private conversations with both of them.
Right.
We have any new dialogue with them?
I'll let you know if I have any more questions, Mr. Harris.
Thank you for answering that for me, game.
Sit tight, Mrs. Harris. I may have more questions for you later.
And as of so far, my fixes for captions seem to be working.
Oh, nice. Do we
I know
maybe
the
have
hand
somewhere
and
we could...
waistcoat pose is supposed to look stately, but to me, it always looks like the person is scratching themselves.
Okay. Anyway, you were
do we
saying?
maybe have somewhere we could go now?
Yeah, it's a good question. We got a lot of places we can go.
Oh, yeah.
Mrs. Davis, right? The caretaker. We should definitely talk to her.
Well, what? There's some creepy eyes popping out of a trash can or
Good day to
something.
you, ma'am. I'm
What?
Miles Fordham, a private investigator. I'm looking into the kidnapping of Charles Harris. Are you Mrs. Davis?
I am. Oh, bless the spirits. They've sent someone to help at last.
Something. She looks. This art specifically looks extremely familiar to me, and I don't know why.
Interesting.
What were you talking about?
That one right there.
I think that's a
you're
blimp.
pointing at. What's going on there?
I think that's a blimp with lights on the blimp.
Oh, okay. To me, it looks like
I see exactly what you're talking about. Yes.
Yeah.
But like that didn't even cross my mind until you mentioned it. But yes, I got you. Oh, I gotta
what's
go.
the IOE? Oh, is that the like
The lending
racetrack or
office.
whatever,
Yeah.
wherever the gambling happens?
Hello again, Mr. Fordham.
Apparently, going to the map make us actually leave. Sorry,
Yeah,
we just
funny.
came below and then walked away. All right, let's talk to Mrs. Harris
I have some questions for you, Mrs. Davis.
All right.
or Mrs. Davis. This is less familiar.
Tell me about the kidnapping of Charles Harris.
Oh dear, may the spirits forgive me. I feel so awful. Charlie was my responsibility, and I failed.
Mrs. Davis, that is beside the point. What's important now is finding him and bringing him home. To do that, I need your full cooperation.
Oh, you're right, Mr. Fordham. I'm sorry. I just need to collect my thoughts, get the negative vibrations out of my mind.
Are you going to start talking to us about
Now,
crystals?
What specifically would you like to know?
To be clear, not that I have anything wrong with people that are way into crystals, but that's just immediately what I think of when I hear negative vibrations.
Got it.
What is this thing? Is this a brooch or is that something else?
A brooch.
Brooch?
It looks like it to me.
Okay. I always thought a brooch was a thing that you had like on a shirt. But then I always see some of these things that hold like the collar together, and I was never sure. Okay.
What
I
time
guess I
did the
don't know if there's a
kidnapping occur?
difference.
That's a good call.
No, I'm not entirely sure. I know I was in the nursery having a cup of tea about 8:30. I remember feeling very drowsy. I must have passed out then because the next thing I knew, I was being woken by Mrs. Harris. To think, whoever took Charlie did it while I was in the room. Oh, may the spirits grant me peace.
Do you happen to take any sort of sleep medications or soporifics?
Oh, dear me, no. Those types of drugs cloud the mind and make it impossible to tune into the ether.
You say that as though it were a bad thing.
I beg your pardon?
Apologies, I spoke out of turn.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. One of the things that happened last time was that Charlie promised to, or sorry, our character promised to not take the soporific anymore.
Right.
Because we literally passed out almost in front of the Harrises. We were very... We were acting drunk off our ass, basically. And so, yeah. We'll see how well that keeps up.
Can you
Right.
think
Yeah.
of anyone who would have wanted to take the child?
Well, I'm not one to gossip, but I am quite sensitive to the
Oh, boy.
energy and vibrations that people give off. I get the impression that Mr. and Mrs. Harris aren't very happy in their marriage.
Ah, come on. Anyone could have picked up on that. Anyone except you, that is.
Mr. Harris
Bill.
likes to stay out late and not take his wife with him. I can't remember the last time they went out together. I don't know what he gets up to, but it's possible he may have made some enemies.
Something about... I know what it is. I was like, something's off when she's talking, and I think it's just the lines that she has in her art side of her mouths. She looks like a ventriloquist dummy, and it's kind of freaking me out.
Oh, okay.
Can you think of any reason why someone would want to kidnap Charles?
It might have been for money, but last I heard, there was no demand for
That
a
is
ransom.
odd.
I honestly don't know why this happened, Mr. Fordham. I just hope you find the poor child. He must be scared to death.
Oh, right. There was also the poorly written letter from, like, the protester for
Oh, right.
Charlie's grandfather, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I found this piece of torn fabric in the nursery. Does it look familiar to you?
No, it doesn't. I'm sorry.
Read it forward.
I found this button in the baby's crib. Do you recognize it?
Why, yes. That's one of Barney's eyes.
The dinosaur?
Charlie's stuffed bear. It's his favorite toy, a gift from my friend Linda.
I didn't find a stuffed bear in the nursery.
Then whoever took the baby must have taken Barney as well.
That's odd.
Oh, at least the poor thing has something to comfort him. Bless the spirits.
Oh no. It is still picking up a little bit of the game dialogue.
Hmm.
I don't know what I'll do with
It's
that.
fine.
I'll figure it out sometime. Actually, what I can do, without it breaking anything else. Okay. Test. Testing. Yeah, good enough. We'll see. For those that are wondering, the way that we're doing captions is through a service called pixelchat.tv. And for some reason, it is so sensitive to audio, it is picking up voices that are not actually like getting picked up by my microphone normally. Like, as far as I can see, when the game is talking, Discord isn't lighting up for robotspacer, for me. But the captions are picking it up. And so what I ended up doing was using Voice Meter. I have a second output. I'm having it capture that, and I'm sending it to it at a much, much lower volume than I am to everywhere else. Okay.
Who is Linda?
Mrs. Linda Walker. She's a good friend of mine. As I said, she gave me Barney as a gift for Charlie.
Can you tell me anything else about her?
Oh, she's a lovely girl, very much in tune with her spiritual nature. I greatly enjoy my conversations with her.
When was the last time you saw her?
Oh, I don't remember.
Well, that's interesting.
No, wait. It was at the last Spectre Society meeting
The
on
what
the
now?
19th. That's right.
Oh, thank you for adding that as a thing to ask about. I'm like, excuse me, the what? Ooh, Kia's home.
What is the Spectre Society?
It's a club for spiritualists and amateur investigators of the paranormal. We meet twice a month.
Called the
to
Consulting
socialize
Detective
and
Network, man, I'm
discuss our
sorry.
findings.
I see. Sounds fascinating.
No, I don't expect you to share my beliefs, Mr. Fordham.
Oh, I have a bit more experience than you'd think with regards to the spirit world.
You can say that again.
Where exactly do these meetings take place?
At a private residence in Gascon.
May I have the address?
Why, yes, it's 325 Rue Jameau. Are you going to seek
That's
spiritual
a good name.
guidance to find
Rue Jameau.
Charlie?
Perhaps. You never know what might be worth looking into. Do you have Linda Walker's address?
No, I don't. I never visited her home. I get the feeling she doesn't like having visitors or being home very much. She prefers to meet people elsewhere. I was the same way after my husband died. It was embarrassing for my friends to see me living so differently. But I feel it's not just a matter of pride for dear Linda. I think there are lots of bad memories associated with where she lives. I try to stay away from places like that. They leave a mark on the soul, you know.
So I see two ways this case goes at this point. Child stolen for some sort of supernatural ritual, or child stolen in revenge for the factory. Wait, now I'm reading chat. Are you alright? Did you stab yourself with a fork?
I'm fine.
Okay.
I dropped my fork.
Oh, okay. That's much different.
How long have you worked as a nanny?
Only a few years. I never had to work when I was married. My husband had a lot of money.
Where did that money go?
Unfortunately,
Oh.
he was in great debt. And after the spirits took him back to the ether, I wasn't left with much. So I began working as a nanny to make ends meet. But I consider taking care of children a reward in its own right.
Thank you for your time, Mrs. Davis.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Pretty distinguished looking gentleman. Handsome. Good fashion sense. Wonder who he is. Her Majesty Queen Jessica. This was clearly painted a long time ago. It's a spirit reaching out to a very frightened man. Possibly the fakest looking photo I've ever seen. That chest is full of undressed dolls? What the hell is wrong with this old bat?
Chill out. Maybe she makes dolls.
This looks like a mourning portrait of a young woman, probably a relative of Mrs. Davis.
Something weird with my... Hold on. I just wonder if something's weird with my microphone gain in general. I might be a little bit quieter now, chat. I just noticed that I was bouncing around in the red. I normally am never that. Okay. Can we ask her anything?
I
new?
have some questions.
All right.
Can. Okay. I should have looked around the room more. In fact, hold on.
Thank
Let's
you.
just
Oh, you're
let's be nosy first.
Another Harris hand-me-down, no doubt. You'd think they would have washed it first. Painting of a misty forest with a cemetery in the background. Cheery stuff. Painting of a tower on a Scottish moor. I wish I'd been able to make it over there. This looks like a mourning portrait of a young woman, probably a relative of Mrs. Davis. These are all books on spiritualism and the occult. Mrs. Davis doesn't seem to have many other hobbies. A boy taking a nap under a tree while his dog runs around in the distance. That brings back some good memories. My mother had a pewter teapot as well. Always made the tea taste funny. Seems like that boiler's the only thing in here that's less than 10 years old.
I have some questions for you, Mrs. Davis.
all right.
Unsecret Crush in chat saying, maybe I'm being unfair, but she seems weirdly calm for someone who had a baby stolen out from under her. You're not wrong.
That's a lovely portrait. Who is it of?
That is my late husband, Jonathan. He used to attend meetings of the Spectre Society with me, bless him. I tried to get him to be more in tune with the other side, but I think he was just humoring me. He was a good man. Everyone at the society cared for him very much.
I couldn't help but notice that chest full of dolls in the corner.
Oh, that. Oh, I know it must look a bit strange, but I pick up old and broken dolls so they can be repaired and donated to orphanages.
Really
It's
now?
my way of giving back to the community and helping poor children who have nothing to play with.
Well, what a kind soul. I wish she would find less creepy ways to express her altruism.
Thank you for your time, Mrs. Davis.
Oh, you're very welcome.
That's an odd trophy to get, but okay.
Oh.
I got a trophy that was... Let's see here.
Said not what it looks like?
Yeah, I think that was the name of it. Yep, not what it looks like. Learned about Mrs. Davis's hobby. I don't know if that is a hint saying that that is not actually what that is, or if that is just them saying, oh, it's not actually that creepy. She's just being nice. All right. Well,
Where are we going now, Mrs. Davis?
May the spirits guide your path.
hey, 6-7. A
Oh,
little ghost there.
that's adorable.
That's great. Where would you like to go next?
Let's go to the creepy eyes under the trash can lid.
You got it.
Okay, the blimp
And
factory.
so we say to Harris and his cronies, no, we will not stand for this.
I don't know what that
Too
accent
many
is.
have died to allow this to continue. Steam tech must be stopped.
Pardon me, are you Arthur Devons by any chance?
Yes. Who are you?
Miles Fordham, private investigator. Could I ask you a few questions?
Guess so. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you recognize this letter, Mr. Devons?
How'd you get that? That wasn't meant for you.
I found it at the home of Mr. Malcolm Harris. He tells me you've been sending quite a few of these to his father.
Me and everyone else would had someone killed by that devil machine. I'm not the only one, you know.
Perhaps not, but he told me you were the most persistent.
What was this guy's name?
I already forgot.
Yeah, same. Okay, that's fine.
What have you got against
It'll be in the
Harris
notes.
family?
I'll get it afterwards.
Family? Don't know nothing about the family. The only one I got a problem with is Clyde Harris, the one who owns this yard. He's just like all those other rich bastards with their heads in the clouds. The man don't
My
care
audio's
about the
gone
dead.
bad again.
He
I
just
gotcha.
wants to make as much money as he can. I'm just trying to make him realize how wrong he is.
Yeah, Arthur Devon? Is that right?
Do you know anything about the
Thank you.
kidnapping of Charles Harris?
You got it.
Charles Harris? Who's that?
Clyde Harris's grandson.
I didn't even know we had a grandson. I can't believe someone with a grandkid, a family, would want more flying death in the air. How many more people have to die before someone realizes that steam machines are evil?
I mean, they weren't that bad of
People will
computers.
kill their own mams for a crown these days.
I'm sorry, no one's gonna get that joke. Valve, as in the makers of Steam, at one point released like computers that were pre-made that ran Steam OS, which is now
Steam
on
machines,
DevTech.
yes.
Yep, called Steam Machines.
Mr. Harris told me you send a bag of chicken bones and dust along with your letters. Why is that?
Chicken bones? Dust? Nah, that's not right. I've only sent letters.
Are you certain of that?
Yes, as sure as I'm standing here.
Right. And I'm the queen. I get the feeling this guy will crack if we figure out what the significance of his little gift is.
Why are you out here protesting?
Because what Harris Construction is doing ain't right. I lost my wife in the Lygia
I don't know
crash,
where
and
Captions
I'm
got
not the
that
only one
line,
neither.
but
Hundreds
it
of
says,
people were
"Do you
affected
have
by
your
that
birthday?"
disaster, and now these bastards are making another airship. It's like a slap in the face to everyone who died. I just can't understand it.
What do you hope to accomplish by protesting?
Simple. We want construction of the Lenore stopped and a full investigation into the Lygia disaster. Not only that, we want compensation for our losses.
I think that's
Royal
fair.
Maverick took care of all the families of those on board, but the families of the ones in the park didn't get a single copper.
Yeah,
It
that's
just
fucked.
isn't fair. We aim to make things right. After that, it'll just be a matter of time before people realize that there's no future in steam tech, and they'll call the whole thing off.
Ah, the innocence of the downtrodden. I wish I could be as naive as them. It would have made my life a lot easier.
You must have loved your wife very much.
Are you joking? I loved her more than there are stars in the sky. She was my whole world, Mr. Fordham, the light of my life. It's been nothing but cold and dark since she was killed. You're married, aren't you, Mr. Fordham? I see a ring on your finger.
I am, yes.
Then take my advice. Appreciate every moment you have.
Oh,
with her.
please don't let this be
Never know
foreshadowing.
when she'll be ripped out of your life, leaving you with nothing.
You know, this fellow was actually pretty wise. Maybe we misjudged him.
6-7 saying voodoo. Need to contact the Schottenjäger.
Does this piece of fabric look familiar to you?
Looks like it came from some fancy jacket, the type you'd expect to see on the snobs in Leon. I could never afford clothes like that in a million years.
Do you recognize this button?
Can't say I do, but it looks handmade. I wonder how long it will
Handmade
be
button?
before the poor soul who crafted that button gets booted into the street and replaced with some steam-belching contraption.
I mean, I guess,
It's like a wooden button.
yeah. But that's not what it looked like. It looked like it was pressed.
You seem very dedicated to your cause.
I'll take that as a compliment, Mr. Fordham.
There's quite a lot of people who are against steam tech, aren't there?
Yes, the movement is gaining ground and growing rapidly, I'm pleased to say.
I've heard stories about some more extreme members. Do you know anything about that?
You mean the Redites? Sure, I've heard of them. Even met a few. But if you think I'm telling you anything else beyond that, you're sorely mistaken.
Are you a member of the Redites, Mr. Devons?
No, I prefer more peaceful methods of making my voice heard. Now, if you don't mind, I think we should drop the subject.
Good day to you, Mr. Devons.
You too, Mr. Fordham.
Arthur Devons.
The time has come.
Well, someone certainly wasn't shy about making their opinion known. Elect Hart Leroy, the man of the people. I think that's preaching to the choir around here. Don't these people have jobs they need to go to?
No, that's probably the part of the problem.
He's
Anything
busy
else?
with his
No. Okay.
I suddenly remembered a joke. What's the difference between the HMS Lenore and Chief Snelling? One is a greatly disliked and untrustworthy sack of hot air, and the other is the HMS Lenore.
We won't stand for this injustice any longer.
I am surprised we can't go into the
That is an
factory.
impressive piece of machinery.
All right. I don't know if that got us anything new necessarily.
Yeah.
Where next? Sad little ghost or the loan
Ghost
shark?
house
Ghost
or
house or the loan
gambling
sharks?
house. I guess we're closest to the gambling place. Let's go there. Don't want to walk around unnecessarily.
Sure.
Hello, sir. Welcome to LaFay Lenders. I'm the owner, Chester LaFay. Are you looking to take out a loan?
Not today, I'm afraid. I'm Miles Fordham, a private investigator.
Look, I don't know what you've heard, but I run a clean business here. I don't need any trouble.
And I'm not here to cause any, for the moment.
Just keep your nose where it belongs. We should get along fine.
Nosy.
He actually has a degree in business from the University of New Britannia? What a waste. LaFay with a woman and a small girl. I wouldn't have taken him for a family man. A crew escaping a shipwreck on a violent sea. Not the most comforting painting to look at while waiting for a loan. Do you suppose LaFay turns the heat up to put some pressure on his clients? Must be soothing for LaFay to be able to look at this landscape while he sits at his desk.
That is actually kind of interesting that he's looking at a peaceful painting and then his guests are looking at something stressful.
I shudder to think how many people's financial freedoms are locked away in that cabinet.
Mr. LaFay, I'd like to ask you some questions.
Yeah.
Fine, but keep it brief.
Just whispering about pizza.
Thank you. Yes, I was.
I just saw on Secret Crush's line in the chat.
Oh.
In response to my, I hope this isn't foreshadowing, I believe that is directly a response to that, and she says, to be honest, an alive wife of a detective is possibly itself a kind of foreshadowing. Look, we don't need any of that emotion in here. Alright. His wife is very kind, and I would like her to stay that, and alive, and I would like it to stay that way.
Tell me what you know about Malcolm Harris.
Ah, Mr. Harris. Took out a loan about a month ago. Still hasn't paid me back. In fact, he sent along a letter yesterday saying he was having an emergency and needed more time. I probably should have refused to do business with him. As soon as he walked through the door, I could tell his type.
What type is that?
Upper class, bored with his life, trying to escape and doing it through vice. In his case, gambling.
This guy is good. Maybe you can pursue money lending if the whole private investigator thing doesn't work out.
But for some reason, I pitied him and decided to give him the loan anyway. Compassion isn't exactly an asset in this business, you see.
Nothing to worry about in your case, then.
Aside from that, I don't know anything about him. I prefer to keep how much I know about my clients to a minimum. Makes things easier for me.
Are you aware that Malcolm's son Charles was kidnapped last night?
I had no idea he even had a son. As I said, I don't ask my clients too many personal questions. Though now you've told me, I suppose that would explain the emergency he mentioned in his letter. Poor guy.
Oh, man. Probably not. But I'm hoping he didn't have his own son kidnapped.
Oh.
Exactly how much did Mr. Harris borrow from you?
Is that relevant to your investigation?
It would help to have an idea of exactly how much he owes you, yes.
I don't feel comfortable telling you the exact amount, but I will say it was over 500 crowns.
A considerable sum.
Like I said, I probably shouldn't have done it, but I'll get the money back one way or another.
What's your policy regarding people who don't pay their loans back?
There are a few options. For the first 3 months or so, I'll send them a letter reminding them. After that, I start to threaten them with legal action. You wouldn't believe some of the things people do to avoid paying back their loans. One client went so far as to fake his own death.
Oh.
Do you ever employ any more unusual methods?
Now wait just a minute. I see where this is going. Mr. Fordham, I'm a family man myself. If you're implying that I would stoop to kidnapping someone's child as collateral...
I never said that, Mr. LeFay.
Look, I have a family to consider. I'm not about to go getting my hands dirty when there's plenty of legitimate ways to handle the situation.
Do they ever solve the Lindbergh baby kidnapping? This story seems inspired by that. I don't remember. You're making me Google.
6-7 says unsolved.
Okay.
Take a look at this piece of fabric. Does it look familiar to you?
Sure, it looks like it came from a jacket. In fact, yes, it's the same fabric as the jacket I'm
Oh,
wearing.
hell.
Would you mind if I took a look at your jacket?
Sure, not a problem. Here.
Kudos to them for animating that. What is this pattern called? I only remember this pattern because it was like a background you could choose in
Houndstooth?
Windows 3.1. Say again?
Houndstooth?
That sounds right. Yep. Yep. In fact, I think that is what that background was called.
Can you open the pockets or anything?
Nope. I'm clicking everywhere. But, I mean, as far as I can see, this appears to be intact and not repaired in any way.
Yeah.
No missing buttons? Nope. Doesn't look like it.
No tears in mine, huh?
Not a one. You clearly take good care of your clothing.
I don't mean to discourage you, Mr. Fordham, but I've seen a lot of people with this style of jacket. Hell, even Malcolm has one. I remember he was wearing it when he came
Oh,
in here.
no.
I see. Thank you for the information, Mr. LeFay.
Go look through his closet. We go to Ghost Place, or you want to go look through his closet and see if there's a jacket?
Yeah, I think we should look through his closet.
Yeah. Alright.
Oh, Mr. Fordham. Oh, thank God you're back.
What's going on?
Our butler just brought this in. He found it stuck to the gate outside.
Harris family, we have your son. If you ever want to see him again, you must stop building the airship. We are not joking.
Oh, new airship.
Yeah.
I bet that's fake.
I also bet that's fake.
Can we compare it? Oh, we can't see the original.
Mm-mm. Trying to see if there's any words that are shared beyond you.
Right, yeah.
I mean, a lot of these are the same. All right. It just seems weird, right?
Yeah.
I have some questions for you, Mr. Harris.
Yes, of course.
What is your opinion of this ransom note?
It's obvious who sent it, Mr. Fordham. Why are you wasting your time here? Go arrest Mr. Devons!
Those are all the questions I had for now.
Yeah.
All right.
No. I don't, like, absolutely not. Let me go look at your closet here real quick. So the reason why it could be him is it sounds very much like the nanny was drugged and knocked out. And who would know to take the bear, right?
You don't suppose.
How about that?
It matches the piece of torn fabric perfectly.
So, this means...
It could mean many things. The only thing that's certain is that a piece of this jacket ended up on the floor of the nursery.
Seems like something worth asking Mr. Harris about. it seems like this is where Mrs. Paperwork and receipts. More late. Empty suitcase.
Yeah.
I suppose Mr. Harris must travel every now and
Yeah.
then.
Oh wait, I was thinking that had a lock on it.
There was something that
But
was
obviously
locked.
not.
I don't remember what though.
Okay.
Painting of the city. Probably.
I have some questions for you, Mr. Harris.
Yes, of course.
Mr. Harris, do you recall the torn piece of fabric I found in the nursery?
Yes, what about it?
As it turns out, one of the jackets in your wardrobe has a tear exactly the same size and shape as this one. Would you care to tell me how that happened?
That can't be.
I'm afraid it is. So explain it.
I have no explanation. The truth is, I haven't worn that jacket in weeks. I've no idea how it was torn.
Are you suggesting someone else took your jacket and wore it when the child was taken?
I don't know. Perhaps someone is trying to make it look as though I... But that's absurd. Why would I kidnap my own son?
Now I'm watching
Why
their
indeed,
eyes at
Mr.
all
Harris?
times.
You really think he kidnapped his own son, Miles? Seems more likely he was set up. But he also doesn't strike me as a terribly good parent. Maybe it would serve him right to be blamed for this. We've done our part. The police can handle the search for the missing baby.
Those are all the questions I had for now.
All right.
I have some questions for you if you're up to answering them, Mrs. Harris.
I'll try my best, Mr. Fordham.
Did you read the ransom note?
No, Malcolm wouldn't let me. He said I was already too upset.
That's all for now, Mrs. Harris.
Very well.
We also don't know how to find Roland. I remember that she mentioned that, like, he never went to his house and he always just showed up when she was out dining. Ghosts are back to talk to Arthur.
Let's check out the ghost house.
I don't know why. I really like this scene, though.
I wonder if Philip's steam-powered carriages will ever make those things go out of fashion. Too dark to tell what's inside. You must enjoy the somber atmosphere.
Yes,
It's on the right
may
door.
I help you?
What?
It's covered now, but there's something on the right door.
Oh, okay.
Hello, ma'am. My name's Miles Fordham, and I'd like to ask you a few questions.
Are you with the police?
No, I'm a private investigator.
I'm terribly sorry, darling, but I simply don't have the time right now. Perhaps if you come back next week, I'll be able to answer your questions then.
Can we then just say... Do we just say that, or never mind?
Let's try it.
This is the Spectre Society, right? I'm interested in joining.
Ah, yes, it is. Welcome, darling.
Okay.
Our membership process is a bit different to most social clubs. We require a sponsor.
Sounds simple enough.
Well, you see, we ask that sponsors be people who have passed on into the spirit world. Once you name your sponsor, I will attempt communication beyond the ether. When they answer, you will be judged and considered for membership.
Are we about to find out if Bill is real or not? Not?
Maybe.
What are you looking for in a sponsor?
A willingness to communicate from beyond the ether, open-mindedness, a desire for truth. In other words, all the qualities of a member of the Spectre Society. Actually, we've had former members who have passed on act as sponsors before.
I've got a sponsor.
Excellent. What is the name of your sponsor, darling?
Jonathan Davis. Who's
Wait,
Jonathan
who's
Davis?
Jonathan Davis?
I don't know that name. Is that in your notes anywhere?
I don't think so. I'll check.
Is that the servant who died in the last one? Because there was the lady who died, but then there was the servant that we found it locked up in the room.
I don't know that I ever wrote down his name.
I mean, I'm going to say that we should say Bill.
Yeah, definitely.
Bill Legere is my sponsor.
Seriously, Fordham? I thought you knew better than that.
Bill Legere. Very well, I will attempt to communicate with him.
She can do this all day. It's not gonna work.
I'm sorry, but I'm having trouble communicating.
Oh,
Perhaps
no.
you can come back and try again later.
See? Told you.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Bill, I don't think you're real.
I have a note that says Husband Davis. But I don't know whose husband.
I mean, let's ask. Oh, wait, Mrs. Davis was the...
Oh, hello again. How may I help you?
nanny. So Jonathan's her husband, who's passed away and used to be a member of the club.
Okay.
I'd like to name a new sponsor.
Yes, of course. Who is your new sponsor?
Make up a name.
Jonathan Davis is my sponsor.
You knew Jonathan? He was such a kind man. Yes, I can feel his presence, and it speaks positively of you. Please come in, Mr. Fordham. I am Angela Maxwell, the founder of the Spectre Society. Welcome.
My audio's messed up again.
May I offer you some refreshments? Some water or tea, perhaps?
You're very kind, but I'm afraid I must decline right now.
Well, please let me know if you change your mind.
Would you look at this place? It's like a candy store for psychics.
I wonder.
I'm gonna go grab some more pizza while you're doing that.
You got it. I also got a bunch of weird alerts. What's going on with my... Oh, people asking me tech questions. I will answer them after stream. Okay. I'm going to try sharing my screen. You tell me if you get audio.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. We'll see if this works. If this works, it's definitely the game. Ouija board.
I think I've seen one of these before. What does it do?
It's a spirit board. We use it to contact spirits, and they in turn spell out a message with the letters on the board.
Well, I've got a message from Miss Maxwell if she ever tries to use a spirit board around me. Those are some creepy twin girls. I could see a passing resemblance to Miss Maxwell, actually. It's nice of Miss Maxwell to let people borrow her books, even if they are all just a bunch of nonsense. And coming from me, that's really saying something.
Oh boy.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh no.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Let me take a drink of fire. Astral projection refers to the willful out-of-body experience, in which the soul, or astral body, disconnects from the physical body and may travel throughout the universe. The practice dates as far back as the ancient civilization, with multiple depictions by the Egyptian of the soul, or Ka, leaving the body before death. The expression astral projection means journeying to other worlds, heavens, hells, the astrological spheres, or other imaginal landscapes. Imaginal? I don't know that I've ever heard that word before. Unless it's like a predecessor to imaginary or something like that. But the term is also applied to non-physical travel around the physical world. Though this usage continues to be widespread, the term etheric travel, etheric, right? They say it is ether, not aether here. etheric travel, used by some later... Oh boy. Theosophists? Theosophists? Go with that. Offer a useful distinction. Some experiments say they visit different times or places. Etheric, then, is used to represent the sense of being out of the body in the physical world, whereas astral may connote some alteration in time procession. This etheric body is usually, though not always, invisible, but is often perceived by the experiment as connected to the physical body during separation by a silver cord. Some link falling dreams with projection. Other experiments may describe a domain that has no parallel to any known physical setting. Environments may be populated or unpopulated, artificial, natural, or abstract, and the experience may be beatific? Another word I've not encountered before. Horrific or neutral. Common theosophical, sure, belief is that one may access a compendium of mystical knowledge called the Akashic Records. In many accounts, the experiencer correlates the astral world with the world of dreams. Some even report seeing the other dreamers enacting dream scenarios unaware of their wider environment. Okay. Unclear if this is going to matter or not. Oh, crap. Okay. Okay, whatever I'm about to read, I love that this ghost leaving this person's body is there to pet that cat.
The drawing is amazing.
It's fantastic. Okay, all right, this first word, all right. Metempsychosis? Or maybe metempsychosis? I don't know. From the Greek meta, so expressing change, and psyche, soul, often refers to philosophical idea of transmigration of the soul at the time of death. Possession. That is to say, the reincarnation of a soul in another human or animal. It is thought to have originated with Orpheus in the 6th century BC. Orpheus proclaimed that the body and soul were two separate entities, chained together in life. Upon death, this bond was dissolved, and the divine soul was freed from its corporeal prison. However, until the soul attained absolute purity, it was fated to continue the cycle of reincarnation. Deeds done in life would affect the soul's purity and determine how much longer its spiritual journey would go on before ascending to heaven. The theory postulates that the soul of a human or animal would be transferred to another living being. Oh, that's interesting. Some characteristics or personality traits of the soul are usually preserved through reincarnation. For example, eye color or affinity towards a particular person or item. Thank you, Secret Crush. I still don't know if I'm saying it right, but we're going to say beatific means blessed. There is some debate regarding the exact nature of transferal of souls, but it's generally accepted that a human soul will transfer to an animal which is already alive. A soul belonging to an animal or human, transferred to a human, will enter a body at birth, not one which is already alive. Therefore, it can be useful to confirm a suspected reincarnation if the date of death and birth of old and new bodies are the same. One popular believed case of metempsychosis, I'm going to go with metempsychosis, comes from medieval Germany, where two feuding families both met their ends. The last one line was suspected of setting the other's stables on fire, during which the other perished. Soon after, a white horse took up residence at the surviving family's estate. While out riding, the estate caught fire, and the horse and rider ran into the flame, killing both. It is said that the horse was a reincarnation of the murdered heir, coming back to seek revenge on his killer. Okay. Are these all? About to find out. Okay.
Do you want me to read one?
Sure.
Connecting a seance is not a matter to be taken lightly. When making attempts to contact those in the spirit realm, many precautions must be observed. The spirit medium must be in a relaxed state prior to commencing the seance. This can be achieved through meditation, prayer, or medicinal means. An agitated medium will have an extremely negative impact on the quality of the seance, and may even attract violent spirits. During the seance, the medium will act as a vessel for spirits and pass on messages from the deceased. In some instances, a spirit board may be used. These are flat tablets, typically made of wood. On the board are a number of symbols, pictures, letters, numbers, and/or words. The board is accompanied by a planchette, French for little board, which is very cute. which can take the form of a pointer on 3 legs or a magnifying glass on legs. A most basic spirit board would contain simply the alphabet of whatever country the board is being used in, although it is not uncommon for whole words to be added. The board is used as follows. 1 to all of the participants in the seance place 1 or 2 fingers on the planchette, which is in the middle of the board. The appointed medium asks questions of the spirits with whom they are attempting to communicate. Do we have more pages?
I don't know. Doesn't look like it. I like how happy the sun is.
It is very happy. Pants means safety belts.
Oh boy. Okay. The giant squid, or oh boy, Architeuthis, is one of many terrors of the deep. It has never been seen by humans, and all evidence of its existence have been found washed ashore, or in the belly of the squid's natural enemy, the sperm whale. Researchers have theorized the giant squid can grow as large as 175 feet, 53 meters. Beaks and tentacles have been found in the stomachs of whales, and some bear the scars and marks of suction cups. The giant carnivore has a torpedo-shaped body. How do you know what a torpedo is? It moves quickly through the ocean by using jets of water forced out of its body by a siphon. The beast has a beak-like mouth, powerful enough to snap a steel cable in 2. The tentacles extend far beyond the length of the body and feature several suckers, each surrounded by a several tooth-like projection. These suckers are able to latch onto other creatures with terrible death grips, so that even creatures like the mighty whale are brought down with relative ease. A first-hand account of encounter with what is thought to be a giant squid is provided by Benjamin Roberts, first mate aboard the Althea. It was close to dusk. We were just off the coast of Madagascar, when the lookout directed us to the source of a terrible bellowing from the port below. Nope, port bow. Breaching from the depths with a leviathan called the sperm whale, clearly in distress. On closer inspection, we know the poor beast was being smothered by gargantuan arms, likes of which I had never seen. A panic erupted amongst the crew, and several began shouting about sea beasts and krakens. Meanwhile, the whale continued its futile struggle. Could not help but feel pity for the creature as its haunting cries echoed throughout the air. The captain ordered an immediate change of course, and we were soon on our way, leaving the whale to its horrid fate. Torpedoes aren't that modern, are they? That's a good question.
67 says spar torpedoes were used in the War of 1812.
All right. That would, well, this is 1810, isn't it? I guess the thing that's weird is even if they're being used, the fact that it would be in a book that is published is just strange. Like, it would become common vernacular, right? It's fine. Just me being weird. Voodoo in New Britannia.
I'll take this one.
Sure.
The religious practices commonly known as voodoo originated in Africa, but have seen a migration in recent years. First moving to the West Indies, it spread after a revolt in Santo Domingo caused a wave of escaped and freed slaves to migrate to Vespuccia. For years, the religion was practiced in secret, but emerged as a more widely accepted faith after the abolition of slavery in 1840. The largest concentration of practitioners of voodoo is the city of New Britannia, particularly the borough of Gascogne. Though it is at its root an African religion, voodoo has evolved in New Britannia, heavily influenced by Catholicism. New Britannia voodoo has adopted several Catholic saints and turned into a hybrid religion unique to the city. One key factor which sets voodoo apart is the use of charms or amulets of various functions and purposes, commonly known as gree-gree. Gree-gree also originated in Africa, used mainly as a means to ward off evil spirits and bad luck. However, they have taken a darker connotation in the voodoo practices of New Britannia, can also be used to bring misfortune and suffering. Common types of gree-gree. The basic gree-gree is always contained in a leather pouch. The ingredients vary depending on the desired effects. We have a sketch of a common gree-gree pouch. For instance, a gree-gree designated to bring a gambler luck would contain chamois?
Chamois.
Correct?
Or chamois.
Chamois?
I believe so, yeah.
Red flannel, a shark's tooth, and dove's blood. Quite a combination. A gree-gree for sending away an enemy contains items like gunpowder or red pepper. Usually the person's name is written on paper and included in the bag. To bring someone bad luck in business, the gree would contain chicken bones and graveyard dust.
Thank you on Secret Crush. Chamois.
Chamois?
ShamWow. It contains a ShamWow. And then you also have to go buy a slap chop. So this is probably the thing that showed up with the other letter, with the chicken bones and dust in it. But it doesn't match these descriptions. Unless the dust was gunpowder. No. Graveyard dust. Yeah. This last one. Yep. That would totally...
Chicken bones and dust for bad luck
Thank
in
you,
business, huh? That sounds awfully familiar.
Oh, boy. Mysteries of spontaneous combustion. I hope we don't have to deal with that anytime soon.
That's exciting.
Yep, we'll get there. This is wonderful.
Oh, another good drawing.
Also, that is absolutely either Nikola Tesla or H.P. Lovecraft. Okay. Communication with the spirit realm is most often achieved via the help of a medium. A fairly common practice employed to communicate with the dead is a seance, in which the medium tries to establish contact with the dead in the presence of a small to medium-sized group of people. The general opinion is that the greater amount of energy provided by living beings will establish a stronger connection to the spirit world. A medium is someone who can speak to the dead. Two types exist, mental and physical. The mental medium, I'm about to read medium, tunes in to the spirit world and relays messages by sensing or seeing spirits. The physical medium is able to produce manifestations of spirits, apparitions, knocks, bell rings, etc. by using ectoplasm contained by their bodies and the bodies of seance attendees. Ew, don't share ectoplasm, that's rude. No one is exactly sure how the abilities of mediumship is attained. Some claim to have it from birth, while others attribute it to near death or other traumatic experience. Whether a medium can see spirits or only hear them depends greatly on the level of skill, as well as their natural attunement to the spirit realm. Some mediums claim that an increase in this attunement is possible through practice and study, while others insist that it cannot be taught into something that is either possessed or not. I should watch Ghost again sometime. What lies beyond the veil.
To those who would claim that what lies beyond the veil is only madness, I ask you, is it madness to gaze upon the face of the others? Those who can provide us with the cosmic knowledge of the ones who came before us, where we are headed, and what purpose we serve? Look beyond, remove the blinders of logic and reason, and embrace the unknown, for here is where the truth ultimately lies, not in some rigid textbook. You must open your mind and attune your senses in order to perceive what is really there, for beyond the veil lies all. Recently, I was speaking to a dear friend who had lost her mother just a few months prior. She told me that in the days following her mother's passing, she sensed a shift in energy in her home, a benevolent energy. She became convinced that her mother's spirit was reaching out from beyond the veil. And why shouldn't she? Death is not the end of our beings. We may shed our physical bodies, but our souls are eternal. While we have not yet mastered the ability to communicate with the deceased, we grow closer and closer each day. Our friends and loved ones who have passed beyond the veil and into the ether have as much a desire to speak with us again as we do with them. This is why spirit mediums are such valuable aids. Without them, we would be lost.
Incoming raid.
Oh,
Culinary Disaster. Hello.
Hello. Thank you, Cadence. Let me give Culinary a shout out. Hello, Raiders. Welcome in. Thank you for joining us on this day of our CDN. We have connected to the Consulting Detective Network, and we are playing Lamplight City. I'm joined by the awesome Robotspacer. I am Silverstreak, or Silver. The game testing program becomes sentient, a VTuber and variety streamer. Culinary, what were you playing?
Culinary was finishing Racing Lagoon and then playing some Elden Ring.
Heck yeah, congrats. Congrats on finishing Racing Lagoon and on playing Elden Ring again?
Racing Lagoon is a wild and wonderful game. I'm glad some people took the time to translate it to English.
Yeah, I've been lurking a lot during the Racing Lagoon streams when I can, and it's such a... I've talked about this before. It reminds me of an MMORPG that I really loved, called Drift City. in just the concept of like, hey, as an RPG, you're getting more experience the more races you do, and then you can get better cars or do better things. It's just a cool idea.
That's great.
Now, Culinary, you have to become a Drift City streamer since there is a server emulator out for it. Anyway,
I was going to say I can hear your assistant now, which is great.
Oh yeah, you can hear Cadence because I'm sharing the entire PC. Awesome. We did read this, right? We read the whole thing? Yes.
No, we got the last paragraph.
Oh, okay.
Many are skeptical, and with good reason. But the mere fact that mediums exist should be proof enough that whatever higher power created us wanted to ensure that there were those among us who could bridge the gap between the living and the dead.
Yeah, Culinary, you joined at a time where the game decided we needed to read a library. And by the game, I mean I did.
Yeah.
Another great...
Oh, no. Oh no! Silver, the audio's gone bad.
Oh no! Well, that sucks. I don't know what that would be. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on a second. You can still hear me fine, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I have an idea.
Also, it's weird that I can see everything you're doing now.
Yep, don't worry about it. Is it better?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, it's probably... The thing I found for OBS is probably still accurate. What's happening with Discord is that I'm combining like 3 different audio sources, and Discord's audio engine is terrible because it uses... I don't want to say that. It is terrible dealing with advanced audio because it uses the old... like prior to WDM audio stuff. I can't remember what it stands for, but MME. And like there's a very small like buffer memory management in it. And my bet is because I'm also using Voice Meter and OBS is capturing audio, it's running out of term. For those that are wondering, I just went into Task Manager and went to the audio DG process and set it to a higher priority. Because what's happening is Discord is crashing that process on as it runs out of cache. I found this out a few years back, thanks to my streaming with Britt K. Kaylee, and I would randomly start going weird on the audio from my microphone, and I couldn't figure out why. And I did a bunch of research. But I have not stopped and restarted streaming with robotspacer, so if you're saying that the sound is still good, then I think that is the cause. Okay. Awesome. Spontaneous human combustion is a highly controversial subject, but remains popular among scholars and aficionados of the occult and the unexplained, because they're sickos. The term refers to the death from a fire originating without any apparent source of external ignition. Oh no, is someone going to spontaneously combust in this case?
I'm a little worried about it.
The term refers to death from a fire originating without any apparent source of external ignition. The fire is believed to start from within the body of the victim. The 1823 book of medical jurisprudence, I can't speak, states the commonalities in recorded cases of spontaneous human combustion, including the following characteristics. The victims are chronic alcoholics. They are usually elderly females. The hands and feet usually fall off. Excuse me? The fire has caused very little damage to things around the body. A residue of greasy and fetid ash is left behind. What?
We just met an elderly female.
Yeah, I hope she does not burst into flames. I would really prefer her to not burst into flames. She seemed nice. Most physicians and investigators strongly believe spontaneous human combustion is a product of alcoholism. Entirely possible. Accidentally inhale your own cigarette. Okay.
I mean, the cat just witnessed someone spontaneously combusting, so I think it's...
I'd be a little startled. Yeah. Okay. 2 more. Ooh, hero.
The Magician. The central figure depicts someone with one hand pointed to the sky, while the other hand points to the ground, as if to say, as above, so below. This is a rather complicated phrase, but its summarization is that Earth reflects heaven, the outer world reflects within, the microcosm reflects the macrocosm, Earth reflects God. It can also be interpreted here that the magician symbolizes the ability to act as a go-between between the world above and the contemporary human world. On his table, the magician also wields all the suits of the tarot. This symbolizes the 4 elements being connected by this magician, the 4 elements being earth, water, air, and fire. The infinity sign on his head indicates the infinite possibilities of creation with the will. The magician is the representation of pure willpower. With the power of the elements and the suits, he takes the potential innate in the fool and molds it into being with the power of desire. He is the connecting force between heaven and earth, for he understands the meaning behind the words, as above, so below, that mind and world are only reflections of one another. Remember that you are powerful, create your inner world, and the outer will follow. The Lovers. In the Lovers card, the man and the woman in the image are being protected and blessed by an angel above. The angel depicted here is Raphael, the angel of air, who is the same element of the zodiac sign that governs this card, Gemini. Air is associated with mental activity and communication in particular, which is the foundation for healthy relationships. His blessing seems to give this card a sense of balance and harmony, the symbolization of union in a grand and cosmic sense between 2 opposing forces. The primary meaning within the Lovers is harmony, attractiveness, and perfection in a relationship. The trust and the unity that the Lovers have gives each of them confidence and strength, empowering the other. The bond that they have created is very strong, and it can indicate that the 2 are joined in marriage and other close and intimate relationships. Another meaning behind the Lovers card is the concept of choice, a choice between things that are opposing and mutually exclusive. This could be a dilemma that you need to think about carefully and make the best decision for your situation.
Rad. Most of that is actually pretty spot on to my understanding of interpretations of tarot as well. So I'm both surprised and not that they're like using kind of the real world interpretations of that rather than their own spin of it. That actually reminds me, I was reading up on their next game, Rosewater. It's set in the same world as this, just in like the West. So that's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right, spirits and the ether. The ether, which is to say the outer void, is the primary channel through which spirits can travel and communicate with the living. This unseen dimension exists in conjunction with ours, but can only be accessed by people gifted with the sight or special communication tools. The most common tool for spirit communication is the etherometer. When spirits wish to communicate, their messages enter our dimension as vibration, undetectable except for the aforementioned people and tools. The etherometer reads these vibrations and translates them into sounds or words, which the medium can then interpret. Spirits expend a great amount of psychic energy when they communicate, which is why most of their messages must be received via this tool. Excuse me, another hiccup. Okay. If a spirit is able to harness a great deal of energy, however, it is possible for them to cross over as a physical manifestation, or apparition. While this is slightly less common, there has been several documented cases of apparitions throughout history. The emergence of modern pharaoh-type technology, it's possible to capture images of these apparitions. Unfortunately, the long exposure times necessary to reproduce these images means it is difficult to capture spirit. They move quickly. I wonder if that's supposed to be plural. As they move quickly and are often only visible for seconds at a time. However, technology develops, it will surely be possible to capture pharaoh-type images in the matter of seconds, thus greatly increasing the probability of capturing the image of the spirit. Unfortunately, spirit photography is easily faked, and many fraudulent examples have arisen. Due to this, it has been increasingly harder to prove the real instances of spirits captured. Once again, the lowering of exposure time will make it much more difficult to fake. It will be interesting to see where the leaps in technology take us. Thank you for posting the link in the chat. I meant to set up a bot command and forgot. Unfortunately, I mean, all of that was super interesting. We only needed one of those things, is what it seems like. This is fine. All right, we were here. All right.
We've just been standing around reading every book.
Two people almost managed to look convincing. That's probably the storage case for the spirit board.
fascinating device. Exactly what does it do?
That is an etherometer. It's designed to pick up vibrations from the ether and translate messages from the spirits.
Can you turn it on? We got a theory we have to check.
The plaque says Leonora Pattinson, seer. She looks like someone I would not want to fool around with.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I remember that, Kia.
That sounds great.
It was pretty. Kia's nephew is a massive Garfield fan.
I never much cared for all that mystic stuff. Why should your life be dictated by a bunch of cards? A great man once said to me, Bill, you aren't going to get very far in life just staring at balls. He's dead now. But then again, so am I.
Could I ask you about some things, Miss Maxwell?
Certainly, darling.
Another drawing. She looks very familiar, and I can't put my finger on it. Hold on. What is her name? I know the movie that she's from. She is the headmistress lady in Three Men and a Little Lady. She looks like Fiona Shaw. Anyway.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Kia also agrees.
What can you tell me about the Spectre Society?
Where to begin? I formed this club 2 years ago, right after I moved to New
Jonathan
Britannia.
died within the last 2 years?
Meetings, we discuss our experiences with paranormal phenomena and organize investigations.
What sort of investigations?
We look into places all around the city which have been reported as haunted. New Britannia is teeming with the spirits of those killed during the French and British takeovers of the city. Not only that, but there is a prevalence of mystic religious practices here in Gascon, brought over by immigrants from the Antilles.
Fascinating.
There are plenty of books on the subject over there in the bookcase, if you're interested in learning more.
Oh yeah, we read the whole library.
All of them.
Do you know anything about the kidnapping of Charles Harris?
I'm afraid I haven't heard anything about any kidnappings, darling. If you wish, I can commune with the spirits and see if I can help locate your missing person.
That won't be necessary, Miss Maxwell, though I appreciate the offer.
Why can we not ask about Bill?
I spoke with Henrietta Davis, and she mentioned one of your other members, Linda Walker. Can you tell me anything about her?
Ah, Linda. Poor dear. Of all our members, she is the one I feel for the most.
Why is that?
She's had a tragic life, but I believe the Spectre Society has helped her greatly. Not only has she made a good friend in Henrietta, she's also dealt with her grief in a positive way. She has devoured my collection of books, educated herself on
Don't
many
need paper,
subjects. I would say she's become an expert on clairvoyance and metempsychosis. It's always nice to know that the club can help
Metempsychosis?
those who
What
have
she said?
suffered.
Okay.
Do you see her often?
Yes, she comes by about once or twice a week.
Metempsychosis.
Metempsychosis. Okay, so like halfway to metemp, like metempsychosis. All right. Makes sense.
What can you tell me about Linda and Henrietta's friendship?
It's so lovely to see them together at the meetings. They're practically inseparable.
Nice.
It's quite sweet. They often leave messages for each other in the guest book.
That's
when
weird.
Linda found out that Henrietta was taking care of an infant, she even gave her a toy bear for the child. I remember Linda lighting up with excitement when she asked about him. She really loves children. It's such a terrible shame about... But please, let's discuss something more pleasant, shall we, darling?
I'm sorry, what was it you said? Madam Psy, what?
Metempsychosis, darling. It's a philosophical term which comes from ancient Greece. It refers to the transmigration of the soul after death.
Is that anything like reincarnation?
Essentially, yes. There's a book on the subject over in the bookcase, which can tell you far more than I possibly could.
game, I really appreciate the amount of like red herrings you were throwing at me at every turn. So, new theory. Linda thinks that the child has the ghost of her child in it. We're to find out that Charles was born at the same time Linda's child died. My bet.
Right.
What's this tragic story about Linda you mentioned?
Oh dear. I probably shouldn't say.
No, don't be a jerk.
Miss Maxwell, I'm going to be frank. I'm investigating a kidnapping, and Mrs. Walker is a person of interest. I need to know as much about her as possible to help me solve this case. Do I make myself clear?
Well, if it will help, Linda was married to a man named Thomas. Together, they had a son named Alexander. Thomas revealed himself to be a terribly cruel man. When he gave himself over to the drink, he would fly into rages and beat both Linda and the boy. One day, she came home to find both her son and husband dead.
My God, what happened?
The police ruled it a murder-suicide. Poisoning, apparently. Linda has been trying to make contact with Alexander's spirit for the past year or so, but has had no luck. It really is a terrible tragedy.
And on Secret Crush, Linda is the friend of Mrs. I already forgot her name. Mrs. Davis, who is the nanny for the stolen child. Linda is the one that gave her the stuffed animal to give to Charles.
Do you know Linda Walker's address?
I'm afraid not, darling. Linda has always been somewhat private, and that's not something I consider to be crucial information.
Do you know any way I can find her?
You could always come back for our next meeting. It will be the first Thursday of next month.
Probably too far.
By then we'll have completely lost track of Charles. There has to be another way of finding Linda.
What made you decide to start up this club?
I began communing with the spirits at a very early age. My twin sister, Rachel, died after falling into an icy pond when we were 8 years old.
I'm very sorry, Miss Maxwell.
Oh, I appreciate your sympathy, darling, but don't feel too bad. Rachel began speaking to me shortly after that. She has served as my spirit guide ever since.
Spirit guide? You mean you still speak with her?
Oh, yes. Every day. In fact, I was just speaking with her before you arrived. As I grew older, I realized there were others in the world who were also able to communicate with spirits, and those who had an interest in what lies beyond the ether. And so, once I moved to New Britannia, I decided to start up this club so we could gather and share our experiences.
Do you suppose she can hear what I'm saying? Hey, Angela, try a bit less eyeshadow, would you? You look like a purple raccoon.
Bill.
Nothing. Clearly a fraud. Ah, well.
I was wondering.
Yes?
When you communicate with the spirits, are you able to stop?
If I wish them to leave me, yes. I bid them farewell, and they usually depart back into the ether.
What about the more persistent ones?
Okay, we're asking the
You
question.
remember I'm right here, don't you?
Well, just between you and me. Those spirits are best dealt with by having the other kind of spirits. Quiets them right down.
I prefer soporific myself.
Oh? You hear the voices of the spirits as well, Mr. Fordham. But of course, now the reason for your visit to the Spectre Society is obvious. Do you see? All our paths eventually become clear. I'm glad yours has brought you here.
Oh, wonderful. Now she started rhyming. Don't get any funny ideas about telling her about me. She may be a lunatic, but that's no reason to expose yourself as one, too.
Oh.
Ooh, what do you think? You do a safety save?
I think we should do it. You can save if you want, but I wouldn't worry about it.
Just one.
Miles, what are you doing?
Ah, you have a spirit guide. Please tell me more, darling.
I wouldn't call him a spirit guide so much as a spirit nag.
This is a very, very bad idea.
Do you know who this spirit is?
Yes, it's my former detective partner, Bill. I shot him on our last case together.
You shot him?
He was on a roof being held at knife point by a burglar. They were too close. I took the shot, but missed, and hit my partner instead.
Oh my, you poor darling. Is he angry with you?
Well, he is now. He doesn't think it's a good idea to tell others about him, but normally he's the same as he was in life. He just wants me to find the man responsible for his death. I've told him I'm really the one responsible, but he insists it's the burglar.
I see. This is quite the unfortunate situation. My advice to you is this. Spirits often know best. You do well to listen to him about keeping his presence to yourself. Not everyone is as
I at least appreciate that she's,
as
as expected, open-minded about it.
Huh, maybe I misjudged her.
I know. It's been hardest keeping this from my wife, but I can't drive her away. She's all I've really got left.
Your story has touched me, Mr. Fordham. I will do everything I can to help you and your spirit guide find peace. If I find anything out which might help you, I will contact you personally.
I wonder...
Thank you, Miss Maxwell. I appreciate it.
Well, that could have turned out much worse. I'm warning you, Miles. Tell anyone else about me, and I won't be so forgiving.
Thank you for the information. It was very enlightening.
It was my pleasure, darling.
Kind ear. Told Angela about your issue. That's interesting. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if there's a completely different ending or branching path if we don't tell her.
Yeah, like maybe working out what is going on with him is like kind of a whole separate mystery that we can either solve or fail to.
Mm-hmm. I'm just for my own purposes for later. Okay. Well, I think we've done everything we can here. Oh, wait, no, the guest book.
There's quite a few members in this group.
Angela, the meeting was wonderful. Cynthia, if anyone interested in Spirit Board, please let Thomas know. Thank you. Linda, looking forward to having you over at the manor next week. Come around 8 p.m. and you can meet Charlie. Henrietta. Ooh, when was this written? Please ask the spirits to come. Cure my son's illness.
There's quite a few members in this group.
These any names we recognize? So Angela is the main person. Sophia Shaw. Linda Walker. Interesting that she is the most normal handwriting. I don't know what this name is supposed to be.
Donald?
Lassen? Is that
Donald
an M?
Clambered. I don't know.
So that's Donald.
It looks like Donald to
and
me,
then
but
that's probably a C? CL.
Yeah.
A either N or M or S. Lambert? Maybe? Anyway. Randall Faulkner. Henrietta Davis. We need to ask about Henrietta if Linda came to see Charles.
I'll be going now.
May the spirits guide you to that which you seek.
Yeah, Kia, it's been really fun so far. It is interesting. I know you didn't get to watch the first stream, but we could have accused a lot of wrong people in the first case, and I'm pretty sure it would have just continued on. Like, rather than, I actually wonder if there is a fail state in this game other than you outright dying or making it to the end. Or at least if there's an immediate fail state, I guess I would say, right? Like, does it let you keep going?
I started following the developer on Twitter, and they have been tweeting about it recently because it's on sale. And they said right out that you can fail and continue playing.
That's interesting. I'm very interested to see how we end up. Just for the sake of it. You're interested in Lamplight City. There's a link. Okay. We don't anywhere new. So I think we go back to Mrs. Davis and ask her about Linda. I mean, look, 6-7. That's entirely possible. We will be doing at least an intro run, and maybe a little bit more than that after we finish the game to hear some of the commentary, and we are absolutely going to see what happens if we don't shoot Bill.
I have some questions for you, Mrs. Davis.
All right.
Mrs. Davis, have you ever had Linda visit you at the Harris Manor?
Oh, no, of course not.
Uh-oh.
And would you care to explain your note to her in the Spectre Society guest book?
Please, Mr. Fordham, I didn't mean to lie to you. It's just that it gets so lonely by myself in the house at night. So every now and then, I invite Linda to come over for tea and some company.
I see. And when was the last time this happened?
2 nights ago? Please don't tell
Oh,
Mr.
boy.
and Mrs. Harris, Mr. Fordham. If they found out what I was doing, they'd have me dismissed without a reference.
I won't, but I'd very much like to speak with Mrs. Walker. Do you have any idea where I can find her?
All I know is that she works as a seamstress at a shop in Lyon, but I don't know the name. I'm sorry, I can't be of any more help than that.
Thank you for your time, Mrs. Davis.
Oh, you're very welcome.
We should probably also talk to Arthur again about the
I'll be
new
going now, Mrs.
quote-unquote
Davis.
note from
May
him.
the spirits guide your
Right.
path.
That entrance animation is very good, to the point where it almost looked rotoscoped, and I'm interested to know if it was.
That wouldn't surprise me. He's been doing rotoscoping for Rosewater.
Oh, cool.
So
That's rad. I love rotoscoping. Like, it's just as an art style. I keep wanting to play The Last Express. I think, is that the right name for that one?
Yeah.
Because that is an entire like adventure game that is rotoscoped. It is very, very intriguing. I was sad that nobody claimed it when I was sending out a list of CDN games to folks, but okay, let's go here. Ooh.
Rather tough to say.
As in, like, it's bad, or it's just like it's you need to be doing some detectiving.
Yeah, it seemed difficult.
No, not Harrison 2. I mean,
easier than Maupiti Island, but also real time and strict about it.
Ooh, that could be interesting.
Or their families.
Mr. Devons?
Yes.
I think we could probably take a break in maybe 20-30 minutes, unless you need one sooner.
That's fine.
All right. Bones and dust.
Do you practice voodoo, Mr. Devons?
What?
The chicken bones and dust you send along with your letters. It's a voodoo spell meant to cause bad luck in business. Quite a convenient solution, wouldn't you say?
I don't know what you're on about.
Come now, Mr. Devons. I'd appreciate it if you didn't think I was stupid.
All right, fine. I went to go see one of them magic women in Gascon. She told me about the spell and what I needed to do. I don't believe in this stuff, but I thought maybe if I used it, I could scare Harris enough to get him to stop making the new airship.
Well, I don't mean to be one to put a damper on your amateur witchcraft, but it doesn't seem to be doing you much good.
No, his grandson got kidnapped. That's not something I'd call lucky.
It's not a thing that you should say, because then you're kind of implying that you're partially responsible for it. I also find it interesting. I can't remember if it's meant to be real world or if it's just a common like depiction of voodoo, but a lot of voodoo is that it only works if all parties involved in whatever's being done have some belief in it. And I want huge disclaimer there, like, hey, I do not know if that is meant to be actually part of that practitioner or if it is just a common trope on depiction of it.
Right.
Hi, Bee. Came up and licked my leg when I didn't notice her come in. Hello. But it's just, I'm interested to see if they apply that here or not.
Mr. Devons, can you tell me about this note?
I've never seen that before in my life.
Are you sure about that?
Absolutely. It's as I told you. I had nothing to do with that boy's kidnapping. I didn't even know he existed until you told me. Remember?
Yeah. And that note conveniently showed up right after you had that conversation. Let him stew in his own lies. His unique way of spelling is all the evidence we need to tie him to the note.
Very well, Mr. Devons. Forget I asked. Good day to you, Mr. Devons.
You too, Mr. Fordham.
This Arthur Devons Joker is bad news. Not only is he making threats to the Harris family, he also has the nerve to send a ransom note. We have enough evidence to pin the crime on him, I think. The police can deal with the headache of actually finding the baby.
Bill, piss off.
The only thing that matters to him
Like, we
is
want to
lining his
find the
pockets
child.
with
That's
misery
kind of the whole reason we're
To
here.
this we say
Yeah.
no.
I don't think it's him. I think the second note was faked.
Alternatively, he's using the kidnapping as an opportunity to try and convince the thing to stop. So, like, he didn't involved in the kidnapping, but now that he knows about it, he's trying to use it as a additional protest method, basically.
Right.
We don't have any new places.
Plus, he hates capitalism, so he must be evil.
Let's go talk to our friend. We had to last time to advance a little bit.
True.
Let's just avoiding false accusations. Just in case I accidentally clicked the wrong thing.
Can we talk?
Go on, I'm listening.
Ooh. Huh.
How's work going?
Hectic as usual. Crime in this city seems to be getting worse and worse every day.
Oh,
I suppose that's the price of progress.
she has laid
God
herself
help us
on my
if they
feet.
ever actually discover that ethericity stuff then. Things between you and Adelaide getting any better?
I'm really not sure. They haven't gotten worse, but things haven't been the same between us since Bill died.
Well, you need to figure things out, or everything is just going to explode in your face one of these days.
You're not
Thanks
wrong.
for the vote of confidence, Upton.
I'm merely speaking from experience. If I'd seen the warning signs of Harold sooner, it would have saved me quite the headache. At least your marriage seems like it's still worth saving.
What's the other case you mentioned?
Yeah.
The one you said was a higher priority.
Well, it seems we might have a mass murderer on our hands.
Squeeze
You
me?
don't say.
That's right. I didn't say because I shouldn't say. But so far, we've had 3 murders with a very similar MO in the past 2 months. Snelling is trying his hardest to keep it under wraps since the newspapers already caught wind of the first 2.
Wait, do we have a
However,
second
neither
case at the same
department
time?
there. I'm happy to stick with the missing persons and domestic disputes. Can we go over my current case?
Of course. What have you got?
They're calling it out. Oh boy.
I found this torn piece of fabric at the crime scene. It's got an emblem with some initials on it.
I recognize that emblem. It's from Solomon Stitching, a little
Ooh.
tailor shop in Lyon. My ex-husband had several jackets from there.
Sorry to dredge up old memories, but do you remember where they're located?
I believe it's on the corner of Bonneville Street and Surratt Avenue.
Fantastic. You're helpful as always, Upton.
So now my question is there a way to find that information out without talking to Upton? Right? I would imagine no, but we had no new places to go.
Yeah.
I found this button at the crime scene. The child's nanny identified it as the eye of his stuffed bear.
Did you find the bear at the scene?
No, the kidnapper must have taken it as well.
Interesting.
Either the kidnapper is very compassionate, or it's someone who knew the child.
Yeah. 6-7 says, this is now upgraded to 5 shadow.
I spoke with Henrietta Davis, the Harris family nanny.
A sensible place to start. What did she have to say?
She claims to have been unconscious when the kidnapping took place.
She must be an extremely heavy sleeper.
I don't believe so. The way she described it made it sound like she was drugged.
Interesting. Definitely worth looking into, I'd say.
Have you ever heard of the Spectre Society?
I think so. They're some sort of ghost hunting club, aren't they?
A spiritualist group, yes.
Don't tell me this case has taken a turn for the supernatural.
Not exactly. It's just come up as a potential lead. Are you familiar with the term metempsychosis?
Metempsychosis.
No, what is it?
Apparently some mystics and philosophers maintain that it's a process whereby human and animal souls are transferred to new bodies upon death.
Fascinating. Some people have such queer ideas. What's that got to do with the kidnapping, though?
I'm not exactly sure yet.
Sometimes I'm jealous of all the odd things you detectives get to look into.
Man, I need to talk to him about his fonts.
Okay.
My brain is broken, and I just can't not see it.
That's it, I think.
Then you'd better get back to it.
No.
It's unfortunate, yes.
It's. I bet it is not even like something that's an issue when he's doing the game dev, and I bet you it is just whatever the engine and how it does scaling up to non-1-to-1 ratios. It's my bet.
Yeah.
In fact, see if this breaks it. Stream. No, okay, it's still the same. So, yeah.
Did we ever figure out if this was an AGS game?
No, I didn't. You know, do you want to? Apparently, yes.
Adventure Game Studio. Yeah. Something about the save dialogues.
Menu, yeah.
And also the fact that it has a Mac version made it seem somewhat likely to me.
I hope that becomes
it's a pretty common way to make adventure games these days.
I need to finish my damn template for G-Develop because A, that gives people another easy way to make a Mac game. And Android and iOS. Although I think with iOS, something about Apple's requirements means you have to have a Mac OS device to actually build it, and I can't remember what the specifics are.
Yeah. Maybe for code signing.
Yeah. And then having to run... What's the thing? So it's Cordova to get the project, and then it's... it doesn't matter. Sir, your beard is wonderful.
Sir. Welcome to Solomon Stitching. I'm Jonah Solomon. Please let me know if I can help you with anything.
Quite the selection, but I doubt the typical clientele of this place buys off the rack.
You wearing a yarmulke?
Game capture is frozen? Oh yeah, it has.
Oh yeah, that's fine. That's because I did things I shouldn't have done. There you go. That is why we set up the hotkey to change what game is being captured by game capture. You didn't miss much. It's fine.
That coat is so dull. I always prefer the ones with a bit more color. The design of that coat looks awfully familiar.
Oh, is that the houndstooth?
Looks like it.
My grandmother had one like that. I think it was meant to be relaxing, but it always felt like my time was running out. Now that it has, well, it actually is relaxing. Go figure. Impressive collection of pattern books. I wish I'd known about this guy when I was alive. I'd have asked him to make me a suit for my funeral. That cloth will be a garment soon. A vest, by the looks of it. Or maybe I'm completely wrong, and it's a treasure map. Judging from the position and the lock, this is likely where Mr. Solomon keeps his money.
Where's the
Mr.
thing he
Solomon?
keeps his money?
Yes, sir. How may I be of
Okay.
service? Oh, let me guess. You're looking to replace that old coat. It looks like it's got quite a few stories it could tell me.
You should listen to the man, Miles. He clearly knows what he's talking about.
Not today, I'm afraid. There's still a few more stories it has left to tell. Actually, I was wondering if I could ask you a few questions.
Questions? Very well, but if they aren't about tailoring, I don't know how much help I'll be.
Not yarmulke. Also, still love the beard.
This is a nice shop you have. I never even knew it existed.
Well, better late than never, I always say. Life has a funny way of always taking us where we need to go in the end.
True. Although I think it's easy to miss out on things from time to time.
Oh, of course. It's easy to overlook the details, but in the grand scheme of things, you'll end up where you need
Although
to
he
be.
does very much sound
And in
Yiddish.
this case, you ended up here. So, please, feel free to take a look around. Let me know if you find anything you like.
I found this piece of torn fabric with your emblem on it. Can you tell me anything about it?
Yes. Brown, wool, houndstooth. This is from one of the more popular jackets I sell.
And here I thought my ability to name ales within 5 seconds of tasting them was good. This fella has me beat.
Do you have any of them in stock currently?
Well, sure, I've got one on the display dummy over there.
Is there any way you can tell me who you've sold them to?
Ooh, I don't think so. I've sold at least 20 in the past month. As I said, it's a very popular style.
Is there anything you can tell me about this button?
Looks like it's made of wood. Not very well crafted either. Definitely not from one of my products.
How did you get into this business, Mr. Solomon?
I was always good with a needle and thread. When I was a boy in Poland, I would help my mother with her sewing. Then, during the war with Russia, I fixed uniforms and stitched up wounds. Not long after that, I moved to Vespuccia, settled here in New Britannia. My first shop was in the Chum, but thankfully I was very successful and was able to move to Lyon. I won't lie to you, this location is much, much nicer. It's refreshing to not have to step over drunken hobos when I open and close the shop.
Oh, but that's part of the charm of owning a business in the Chum.
Not much else to say beyond that. My business is my life.
You seem very dedicated to your craft.
That's right. You won't see any of that newfangled steam-powered nonsense in here. Everything is done by hand and with care. I use only the finest quality materials and stitch every thread myself. That's the way it's
Caption's
gonna
not
stay
picking you up anymore?
as long as I'm around. It's worked for 45
Nope,
years.
there it is.
There's no reason to change as far as I'm concerned.
For what reason it says it's picking you up saying, okay, Google. Nope, phone, not you.
What?
Not you.
What?
Yeah, weird. I don't know. It just had you saying, okay, Google a second ago. Again, phone, not you. Please go back to sleep. Nope. 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 All right. We're fine. Sorry, Culinary. Look, I was just reading what was on the captions. I apologize. I mean, I could, no. Okay, Google, order a pizza. No, anyway, no.
Pizza for everyone.
Yep.
Do you by chance employ a seamstress named Linda Walker?
I do, yes.
Is she here?
No, she has the day off today, but she'll be in tomorrow.
Would it be possible to have her address?
Begging your pardon, but why should I give it to you?
Ooh. What do you
Oh
think?
no, Culinary.
I mean, I could shout out Xbox turn on if anyone still has an Xbox One. What do you think? We told him our name. This one seems like a bad idea.
I feel like being honest is probably the best bet.
All right.
I'm a private investigator, and it's crucial to this case.
Well, as I said, she'll be here tomorrow. You can ask her then.
It really is a matter of some urgency.
I'm sure it can wait a day. But if it were really that urgent, I would think the police would be involved, not a private investigator. I'm not obligated to tell you anything, so please, let's move on before I lose my patience.
Oh, interesting.
Please, Mr. Solomon, it's
So you said, but why should I?
This
Can
one
we not cancel?
No. We know, and this one can't be right because, like, her son wasn't that old, right? Oh, I guess we don't know.
I mean, to me, the other two.
This one is definitely not
urgent problems. So,
yeah, this one is definitely
why
not.
would he give out her personal information?
Can I?
For something that's not urgent.
I can't escape, so I'm choosing this one.
I know I said I was a private investigator before, but there's a more delicate reason I want to speak with Mrs. Walker.
Oh?
Her son, Alexander, and mine
okay.
were schoolmates. I just found a book he lent my son, and I wanted to return it. I've been trying to track her down for ages, and only just found out where she worked.
Oh, I see. It was a terrible tragedy what happened with her boy and her husband. I know how private Mrs. Walker is, but I'm sure she would appreciate you returning her son's book. All right, she lives at 403 St. Agnes Street.
Remember when you couldn't even bring yourself to trick people into thinking their shoelaces were untied? You've come a long way, Miles.
I'll be taking
So
my
he-
leave of you now, Mr. Solomon.
Very good.
Yeah, I have a question on whether we should have done that or not. So,
He bought that because we knew some.
yeah, because we
personal
knew about
information.
Alexander dying and
It kind of makes sense.
what happened to her husband.
Isaac Samuels, the prime minister who freed the slaves. They say even his enemies wept on the day he died. I sure hope I get to meet him someday. This guy has been in business forever. Come to think of it, I have seen plenty of people wearing that design. No tears in this one, though.
Wish.
Oh.
Some people would call that humming and hissing the sound of progress. I'd call it annoying.
This is a weird place to put a door.
Some people would call that humming and hissing. It says here that Linda Walker is in the upstairs apartment, and someone named Douglas Emafiel is under the stairs.
Yeah, again, that's a really weird. Because, like, there'd be no structural integrity of the top stairs.
Yeah.
Nobody home. Now what?
Or a neighbor?
What? Who are you? Are you from the Steamworks?
Afraid not, sir.
Damn. Oh well, what can I do for you?
Why did you think I was from the Steamworks?
Because I contacted them a few days ago when my boiler broke, and nobody has come to repair it yet. I should have known better. Those fools always take their time, if they even bother showing up at all. Meanwhile, I'm stuck in here with nothing but cold water. If I catch pneumonia and die, you'll know who to blame.
Do you know Linda Walker?
Of course. She lives upstairs. Who's asking?
I'm Miles Fordham. I'm trying to find Linda so I can speak with her.
What's your business with her?
I'm afraid that's private.
Well, she's out right now. You'll have to come back another time if you want to visit her.
Have you got any idea when Mrs. Walker will be back?
Not for a few days. She told me she was going away for a bit. Ah, that reminds me. She asked me to water her plants while she was gone. Just need to remember where I put the spare key.
Did you say something about having a spare key to Mrs. Walker's apartment?
Sure. I'm her landlord. I look after the place when she's gone. Got a bit of a green thumb, that one, so she puts me in charge of watering her plants.
Can we
The
go
trip up
water
is
her
a bit of a
plants?
pain, though. My hips aren't what they used to be.
Oh, we can help you with that, buddy.
I'm a private detective, and it's of the utmost importance that I get that key from you.
Right. Private detective. I don't have to do anything you say. You're not really the law. So nice try, but I'm not betraying Mrs. Walker's trust so easily.
He says that now, but I'm willing to bet he'd do it if it benefited him in some way.
Sorry to bother you, sir. I'll just be on my way.
It says here that Linda Walker. Miles, what are you doing? You don't know the first thing about steam engine repair.
It can't be that hard to work out.
If you're serious about getting it fixed, I'd suggest looking for someone who knows about this sort of thing first. But if you just want to charge in blindly, be my guest.
Is there anyone we know?
Hi here if we screw up.
Yeah, probably.
Just get a question. You gonna try it?
Sure am.
I'm excited. What's that noise?
Probably nothing bad.
No, we're about to die, I think.
These pipes are connected to the flue. They must heat up the water in this overgrown tea kettle.
It won't go any.
Oh.
A fine fuel sort.
It won't go any.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
I can't do anything.
Oh, no.
Probably fun, right?
Is that good?
This is probably fine. Or not.
Oh, we're all right.
My boiler! What have you done?
I do apologize.
You're one of those saboteurs, aren't you? One of those Redites. No, I'm calling the police, you no-good troublemaking bastard.
Now you've really done it, Miles. Best not to stick around here too long.
Cheese it. I think we should reload that.
Yeah, I think we're just gonna reload. I just wanted to see what happened.
Yeah.
Let's go find someone that we can talk to. That's funny. That's funny.
Are we gonna take a break?
Oh yeah, that's a good call. It's a great time to take a break. All right, well, we will go to break here for 10, 15 minutes. I will end the VOD here for folks that are watching the VOD. If you're watching live, stick around. You'll be able to fish, and we'll be back in just a few minutes. Be safe and be kind to one another. Bye-bye.